Hi, good morning. Me again. I thought I'm going to do a little one a bit different today. I'm not dressed up to be the stereotypical kind of. I don't know. I'm just being me today. I'm ready to go out horse riding, and I thought, you know what? Let's just go on and do a video of an interview with Piers Morgan with a murderer and just do a block a blind react, almost a blind react. I've kind of half seen it. It's a 9 minute video. You're going to hear it, hopefully, on the microphones. You're not going to see it, but then we're going to talk about it. Now, the reason for me doing this a little bit different today is because although I'm doing criminology, I found myself there's almost like two sides of me. There's like the normal person. So I keep playing with this. There's like the normal Saf is this side, and the criminologist Saf is this side. And I'm trying to find a happy medium. And sometimes it's not appropriate to be normal Saf in criminology. And sometimes I've got to kind of turn my thinking. And we are taught about critical thinking and bits and pieces. But also, I want to kind of show you that the difference between like the way we normally think about things and the emotion behind reactions as opposed to what a criminologist or whoever in the justice system kind of looks at things. So let's give it a go. So the title of this video is He Used to Murder to Unwind. Now, like I said, I've played it in the background and not really paid attention to it, so we're going to play it now. Hopefully the mics will pick it up. Let's go for it.
In 2005, in a bloody 24-hour killing spree, Levi King takes the lives of 5 people. His elderly neighbor and daughter-in-law, both murdered in their home. Then, after a 14-hour drive, he randomly chooses a house and massacres the family inside. The 10-year-old daughter miraculously survives. Her 14-year-old brother does not. What was your childhood like, would you say?
We were poor. It was a rural area. I would say probably a third of my childhood was spent in a house without electricity or running water.
I want to stop it there. Piers has obviously asked what his childhood was like. Now, the one bit that I did hear, which is a bit later on, is Piers points out that this guy had siblings that didn't go on to murder. So, yeah, I've seen the footage of his family home. It's appalling. But is it a reason? Is it a reason to go on and commit any crimes? It's difficult, isn't it? How can his siblings go on to be compliant citizens, so shall we say, and him not? But yeah, let's carry on.
I had been up to their house a few times, and the house was in shambles. I remember the first time I ever saw it, it was shocking to me. I remember feeling uncomfortable about going upstairs.
And you went into Levi's parents' room, and it had this immaculate collection of guns and swords.
Like I said, you can't see this. I will try to put the whole video in, but I'm not very good with the editing side of things. But what they're showing in Levi's parents' room is a massive collection of knives. And I mean, a massive, like stabbed it into what looks like a kind of mocked up coffin leant up against the wall. That's the only way I can describe it. Yeah, it's quite a picture. Yeah, I'm not too sure what to say about that. So I'm trying to be like normal Saf at the moment rather than criminology Saf. It's shocking. If I walked into that, I'd be like, whoa. And they're saying that they've got a collection of guns there as well. I know in America guns are a common thing, but if you saw this image, or hopefully you might be able to get to see this image, I don't see anything common about that. It's quite sadistic.
On one wall.
And if I was there, I wasn't there long. And even they didn't want us there long. It was like, okay, we're going to get this one thing and we're going to get out of here.
It was scary that several children had been raised by this family. The majority of them got in trouble at some point in time in their life, but not as seriously as Levi did.
I thought for a moment negate the fact that it must have had an impact on you, this environment of this pretty awful conditions you're all living in. There would be a lot of kids, millions maybe in America in the last 25, 30 years that could tell similar stories. What was it, do you believe, that was so bad that it made you be capable of such extreme violence?
I would say that it was the overwhelming amount.
The overwhelming amount of what?
Of violence from my father,
right,
that I knew or experienced or associated with.
Right. You're living in a house with seven of you kids, right? With your father. But of the 7 siblings, you were the only one to go on and commit murder. You all come from that same environment.
Well, they had actually a very different upbringing than I did.
Stop right there. Okay, so maybe I got it a little bit wrong earlier. So the other siblings, there were 7. The other siblings did get into trouble, but not they didn't go on to kill like Levi has. And he's basically saying now, yeah, but I got it worse. You know, all the others, they didn't have to do things what I did. Now I absolutely appreciate that it is a thing in family, especially large families in poorer communities, that there tends to be one child or maybe 2 that are kind of chosen, so to speak, to suffer or go the other way and be like the favourite child. I get that. I'm not too sure whether he's trying to use this as mitigating circumstances, like, you know, the whole my father beat the hell out of me for all these years and that's why I've gone and killed people. I'm not too sure yet, but let's continue.
You know, they weren't ever put in the position that I was. I've never known my brother to have to go off and kill a family pet or anything like that. Not just puppies, but dogs, you know.
How many times did you do that?
Oh, dozens upon dozens.
Dozens of dogs?
Yeah. Imagine being a kid and being pushed into doing that by your father.
That felt like a bit of an exaggeration to me. I don't dispute the fact that, yeah, he probably got made to kill family pets. But when Piers says dozens and dozens, he's like, yeah, dozens and dozens. Like, dozens of dogs. How many dogs do you go through? Right, don't forget, this is me, normal self, doing this. Oh, we'll have to do a video watching the same interview, I think, and try and put a criminological aspect on it. But how many dogs can you get through in your childhood? You know, you just keep killing them on a weekly basis. Not too sure. Yeah, I think that's exaggerated. Sorry, Levi.
Despite the brutality at home, Levi King continues to live with his father. Now in his teens, he's regularly stealing. But during one break-in at the home of a childhood friend, King commits his first serious crime. You, in your late teens, you had this incident where you set fire to a neighbor's house.
You know, I'd been out driving around in my car and pulled into a neighbor's house, went inside, looked around, and eventually set the place on fire.
That did not scare you that you were capable of that action against people who had done nothing to you?
No.
When we see arson happening,
right before the old criminal profiler comes on, so he's gone into this house. No one's done him any wrong, and he just set it on fire. Now, surely that is kind of one of the biggest red flags to come up. His reaction there done me, because he said, "Didn't you feel like worried that you're capable of it?" And he was like, "No." I don't know. Maybe a psychopathic kind of trait, but anyway, this is Dr. Casey Jordan just starting to talk now. She's a criminologist and an investigative profiler. I have to say way too many words in this course, you know.
especially with animal cruelty, these go hand in hand with someone who is trying to feel power. When I've interviewed similar people, I very often get an answer of, I did it to just see if I could feel something. But he doesn't.
You felt nothing?
No.
Even as it was going up, you were destroying their home, all their possessions, things they built over their entire lives.
No, I can't explain it. There's just a separation there.
That's interesting because, yes, Dr. Jordan was right. A lot of these criminals do these extreme things for a satisfaction of some sort, a power, and walk away feeling good about themselves because of their past. This guy's saying, no, I didn't feel nothing, just did it. Now, is this kind of like a personality disorder that has totally devoid him of emotion? I don't know. It's shocking. Absolutely shocking. Let's see what Piers has got to say.
King served 3 years for the arson. Upon his release to a halfway house, he immediately escaped.
At a point in time, he decided to come back to McDonald County.
3 years. You know, justice is a funny old thing. And incarceration is one solution. But I don't know the ins and outs of this case, but I'd like to question if anyone aside from the prison service kind of jumped in while he was in for 3 years and try some therapeutic rehabilitation with this guy, because he's not scared to say he didn't feel nothing, he just went and did it. There's no remorse. So what's to say he's not going to go out and do more? And obviously we know he's gone out and done more, and he's just gone to a halfway house and escaped straight away. I mean, where are all the authorities and the institutions that can kind of help these people? I say help these people, but rehabilitate these people. Stop, Saf, stop ranting. See, totally different person when it's just me being me.
Basically breaking parole.
Levi heads back to the only place he knows.
I hitchhike home. I actually go to my dad's first.
He doesn't let you in, right?
No, he lets me in, but he didn't want me around. I'll put it that way. And basically, at that point, he told me there was nothing there for me. You know.
Levi has got nowhere to go.
So his down and out dad doesn't even want him. That says something, doesn't it? Why isn't anyone picking this up? His dad, who's basically put him through this. Sorry guys, I had a phone call and I'm filming on my phone, so it cut out, and I've had to speak to my tutor for an hour and we just got caught up in conversation. So right, let's recap on Levi. So he's been brought up in this appalling home, rough childhood, and he's the only one that's gone on to kill out of 7 siblings. He then goes on to burn down a neighbour's house. So this is pretty much where we've got to. He's burnt this neighbour's house down just for shits and giggles by the looks of it. But well, not even that. He didn't feel nothing. He felt sod all. And then the criminal justice system give him 3 years incarceration and then chuck him in a halfway house where he escapes immediately. Great, that works. And he heads back to his dad's, and his down and out dad is like, no, I don't want you here. So even his own dad, that's like horrible, just doesn't want him. That's where we're at. So he's back there. So now this is a guy talking from the sheriff's office. Let's see what he's got to say.
County, basically breaking parole.
Levi heads back to the only place he knows.
I hitchhike home. I actually go to my dad's first.
He doesn't let you in, right?
No, he lets me in, but he didn't want me around. I'll put it that way. And basically, at that point, he told me there was nothing there for me. You know.
Levi has got nowhere to go, nothing to do. He was feeling like a failure, feeling disempowered, feeling abused. And now he just needs to come up with a solution on his own.
I didn't.
Right, this is where things change. So now he's kind of lost everything now. And I think the dad's saying, nah, I don't want to know ya. has left him thinking, oh God, what can I do next? Is this where it levels up? I believe so.
Didn't have a vehicle. I didn't have any transportation, and I needed money. So I waited for him to go to work, went in through the house, grabbed some of my possessions, just stuff that I left there, and went into his room and started taking guns.
Why?
I just felt like I could actually just pawn the guns.
So you took the guns, 3 of them.
Yeah.
And where do you go?
Well, I start walking, and of course, I'm looking for a vehicle or some form of transportation.
And you found one?
Yeah. Yeah, I found one at the McCool's residence. I was going around the house looking for the keys. I went into the office just off the front entrance. They pull up, and I felt like I was trapped in the office. So I hide in a closet until they come in. Don McCool comes in, goes downstairs, and then he comes in behind her, shuts the door.
We figured he was looking for the keys to the truck or whatever when they walked in the house, and they surprised him, and fight or flight type thing.
And without even thinking about it, I don't know what to do. But I come out of the room and I see him, so I pull the gun up, level off, and I shoot him because I didn't know what else to do.
Then murder someone?
Yeah.
Well, that was the only option you thought you could do?
That was the only thing that came to my mind.
Just take your gun and shoot an innocent man dead.
Yeah.
A guy is 70 years old, 7 grandchildren, 6 great-grandchildren. Didn't you kill Dawn, right?
Yeah.
She's 47. What were you feeling as you did this?
Nothing, just blank.
Now he's lying because I've sinned further on, right? I'm cheating a little bit. So he's gone to steal a car. He gets interrupted in the whole process of trying to find the keys, and he's trapped. He's like, shit, what do I do now? And Piers quite rightly says, what? So killing them was your only option. And when he recalls, this is one thing in criminology that I'd like to keep at the forefront is the victims. Now, these victims had done nothing wrong. They had families. He was in his 70s. I mean, come on. Jesus. Like, normal Safi's infuriated with this guy. And yeah, what was I going to say? Yes. So then he go, and what do I feel? Nothing. He's lying. He did feel something. He felt power. He felt power for the first time, and almost like a high from it. So the arson didn't do nothing for him. So yeah, he did his time in prison, escaped, went to dad. Dad didn't want to know, nicked his guns. Has to level up now because he's got nothing. And he needs to feel good. His life's been pretty crap, mostly by his own decisions, but he wants to feel good as well. No, did he go in to kill those people? Absolutely not. I'll give him that. He went in to steal their vehicle, but he didn't think twice about killing them because they were in his way. And when he walks away, he felt really good about it. And I know he felt good about it because 14 hours later, he went and killed someone else. So let's jump into this story again.
Nothing.
No.
Not laughing at what's
I
gone
moved down
on.
the stairs, continuing the fire
certainty.
until she was dead. I picked up the keys, exited the house or whatever, went and got in the pickup that they just pulled up in. And as I sat there just before I started up the truck, there was just like a I don't know if I want to call it a sense of peace, but just like everything that had been building up just melted away. It was all gone. And I was just right there, just, I don't know.
At peace. And yet you committed an act of unbelievable violence. Yeah. You'd taken the lives of 2 innocent people in a brutal manner. You'd executed them.
I'm getting really wound up by his facial expressions. I'm not going to lie. His demeanor in this video is very flat, with no remorse. Let's carry on.
And yet you're feeling peace.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand that that's strange and bizarre to a lot of people.
Do you understand that? I
can understand that strange or bizarre to people. Yes, it is strange and bizarre. You're literally saying that murdering makes you unwind. Maybe I should just go back to criminological, Saf, eh? Maybe that's the right thing to do. It's too stressful being normal, Saf.
Hey, think about what you did. I feel sick to the pit of my stomach.
He didn't intend to kill the McCools, but when he did, it felt good. It felt like a release valve, had opened. And suddenly he felt power.
He got a sense of enjoyment from that, and nothing was going to stop Levi from doing it again.
And 14 hours later, in Texas, he kills again. This time
Now, this second kill's interesting because, well, not interesting, but it's like, the only way I can describe it is like a smoker has one cigarette, and then all of a sudden that addiction gets into the brain and says, oh God, I need another cigarette. So that smoker goes and smokes another cigarette. In Levi's case, he's murdered someone, or he's murdered two people, and the dopamine that was released from that and the good feelings he got from that have now run out within 14 hours. So he does it again.
it's a family with young children asleep in the middle of the night.
I didn't know what to do, so I just wanted to feel that sense of release again.
So this time it's completely premeditated. I'm going to go in that house and kill people.
I saw a flash, and then he opened my brother's door, turned on the light.
And I told him I was sorry, and I shot him.
Right, that concludes that interview. I told him I was sorry and I shot them. And the little girl you held at the end was one of the children in that house that survived. She was the only survivor in that house. Now, it's interesting actually that I had that break and spoke to my tutor, because we were talking about psychopaths, amongst other things. And the general consensus on psychopaths is that they get power and they feel good when they do these extreme crimes. And normally it's based on a bad childhood or abuse, or something's happened, in their past. And with Levi, I credit him that, yeah, he lived in a really awful situation as a kid. And yes, I think that contributed to it. But the psychopathy of it, which I didn't actually believe was there at first, the psychopathy is so different to that mainstream that we all believe. So for the normal psychopath that people kind of portray them to be, is they go out, enjoy it, they just keep going and they're just loving it. But at the beginning, that first big crime with the arson, he didn't get nothing from it. He didn't get nothing from it. But he must have been in some kind of mental disorder then, to just choose to go into someone's house, look around and torch the place. So it's already started. Now, I'm quite critical of the justice system in this case, because I think America in particular tend to use the incarceration as the answer. There's a lot of lockup in America, and lifers, and they think, we'll just lock them away, throw away the key, and sometimes victims will find that as the justice. However, in this case, he's gone for no reason whatsoever, not even a robbery. He's just walked into someone's house, had a look around and burnt it down. They've given him 3 years, but they haven't addressed the problem, because they've let him into a halfway house and he walks out, he gets out and he's off skis. And and it's like, he didn't even get out to kind of change things, because no one's helped him change. He doesn't know he's got a problem, really. He's just doing what his brain's telling him the thing to do. He goes back to his old man. His old man's like, no, I don't want you here. biggest kick in the guts for him. I think that was when he then turned that psychopathy into the normal psychopathy that we see as normal people. The getting the power and the enjoyment. I think his dad's refusal to accept him back took that last bit of power away from him. So he needed that. Now, he didn't plan the murders, but he planned a theft. But the murders came easy. And he felt something. He felt good. He felt release, chilled out, and he needed that in his life. So in his mind, he's like, well, let's go and do it again. Now, this could have been prevented. I fully believe that if once he was done for the arson, if things were put in place then in a rehabilitation way, maybe it wouldn't have got this far. So I'm critical of that. But yeah, so he's turned into what we would see as the general consensus of what a psychopath looks like. He's getting enjoyment out of it. He runs out of that enjoyment, so he does it again. And I won't lie, I don't know if he done it after the second family killing. I don't know anything about the case but that video. But if he wasn't caught after that, I'm sure he probably did go on to kill. If he was left to his own devices, he'd just carry on. Like I said, like a smoker, you just carry on. You need that. You need that. You need that. He's obviously in prison now, so he got caught at some point. I'm guessing after the family. He got caught. But yeah, it's just quite fascinating to see two sides of the psychopathy in one person. So the whole no feeling to up in the game and the feeling. Yeah. So anyway, I'm rattling on now. I'm going to finish my coffee and I'm going to go and ride my pony and get a little bit of release myself. That's my release. I don't do anything criminal to release the stresses. But thank you so much for watching. This has been Normal Saf, just a bit more relaxed. And I'm not too sure what people prefer, whether they prefer a little common criminologist Saf or whether they prefer me to be speaking a bit more formal and academically. Like I said, I'm trying really hard to be academic, but this one I just wanted to change it up with a short interview and just do one that people can kind of relate to reactions, natural reactions to such horrific crime, rather than a professional or an academic way. Anyway, till the next one, see you later.